Welcome to another Monday market update. It is the last day of July. We are 7 months through 2023, and I can't believe it, but tomorrow is August 1st. That's incredible. Man, we are flying through the year, and along with it, we are flying through a lot of economic news going on at the same time. So let me get into it, give you what's going on the past week. As we knew, the Fed would meet, and the Fed did meet, and they did raise interest rates a quarter of a point as expected. But what they didn't signal was what they would do next, which that morning I kind of felt like that's really where they were going to land. I didn't really expect much news to come out of that meeting because I know that they know they have so much power and influence over the markets. And so they really didn't want to give their hand too much, but they basically said, hey, we're going to watch data for the next 6 weeks. And if data comes in that says, hey, we need to raise rates, we'll raise rates again. If data comes in that says, I think we can cool it off, then we won't. So we just really don't know. And unfortunately, the economy is teetering for a month, basically with every new economic news that comes out. So if it's good news, rates are going to go up. When I say good news, meaning like the economy's doing well, then that's a bad news for rates. If the economy's doing poorly, then that's a good thing for rates. It's weird how you look at it. But anyway, so what happened is that mortgage interest increased. Speculators are like, hey, listen, we're going to leave the bond market. And so because they jumped back into other investments, that drove the 10-year Treasury note up in anticipation of future increases, which will likely happen. And mortgage rates increased to near 7% again. I mean, it's like, again, we're just teetering. It's very volatile. So the back and forth of what we're seeing, mortgage rates up and down by the week, but overall trend, it's not really trending down. I mean, I remember a year ago I came on here and I said, listen, I think we're going to end up between 5.5 and 6. That's where mortgage rates will camp out for a while. We're over, we haven't even hit 6.5% like average rates in the past 6 months. So I don't really know what's going to happen. And the crazy thing is nobody knows what's going to happen. We just don't know because every piece of information that comes to us is conflicting. You can literally take it and turn it to mean something or something. I mean, one way or the other. Like you want it to be positive, you can spin it positive. You want it to be negative, you can spin it negative. So it's insane. Like we literally are just, I don't know. It's wild. But other numbers that were released last week included the GDP and consumer spending. Those numbers increased greater than estimates, and along with it, continued belief that the U.S. will avoid a recession, and the worst is behind us. A couple of months ago, people were like, we're going to hit a recession, but all of the news that keeps coming is good news. So, I mean, it's just like all you can do is take for what it's worth, I mean, it keeps being good news. So I think we might actually avoid a recession. Still yet to be determined, but the favorability ratings are improving for the economy. People are spending, and although, as I mentioned last week, what we are spending on has changed due to COVID patterns, business investments drove much of the growth of the economy, as did consumer spending on services. Ultimately, though, as the economy moves along, volatility will continue with each new data set. So if anyone tells you what they know is going to happen, they don't. That's the reality. Be wary of trusting those people. This is uncharted waters, and really no one truly knows what's going to happen. But the one thing I do know is that I'd rather own an asset than have to be paying someone else to own it. So think about that. If you're still trying to buy a house, it's still better to own the asset than to be paying somebody else's mortgage plus paying them a profit. What we do know is that by placing cash in short-term treasury notes and CDs right now, it will make you money outpacing inflation by 2 to 3%. If you have sizable amounts of cash and want to invest it with rates very high right now, the benefit of placing cash in these vehicles is extremely high. So if you have a mortgage with a lower rate than 5%, place a high amount of cash into a high yield savings, a CD, or a treasury note, and you're going to be gaining guaranteed 5% or higher in a very short time. In addition, with inflation now below 5%, you'll also be earning more than your cost of living increase due to inflation. So these methods are growing in popularity and becoming much more attractive to short-term investors than stocks are, even though the S&P is up 19% this year. Short-term strategies are proving resilient and smart. Finally, I wanted to touch on a little bit of this book I've been reading. It's called The Voice of the Heart, A Call to Full Living, and it's by an author named Chip Dodd. Some of you may have read it. Some of you have heard of Chip Dodd, have watched what he's done. I was unaware of him until I recently started reading about what was going on. I've been going to therapy for the past 9 months. It's been fantastic. My therapist recommended this book. It was awesome. I want to read a little bit about the 8 feelings. There's 8 feelings. This book is fantastic. I encourage you to pick it up, read it. I think we all would benefit from it. Here you go. For centuries, people have recognized that if your heart is seen, known, invested, offered, and given, then you are considered to be all in or authentic. This authentic experience of heart allows us to answer the first question God asked mankind. Where are you? Genesis 3:9, he said that, where are you, to Adam and Eve? The question he continues asking us to this day. By knowing our hearts, we see and know where we are and where we need to go. Feelings, as described in this book, are the first and most important root of the spiritual root system. They help us name what we are experiencing in our hearts. Feelings bring us to the confession of how wonderfully frightening it is to live the mystery of being with God and others. Feelings ultimately are tools we have been given to live fully in a tragic place where wonder and tragedy, great loves and great losses intermingle. Our lives cannot yield fully to the eternity we envision in this finite place. But feeling our feelings allows us to keep heart in the struggle of living fully, loving deeply, and leading well a life worth living for ourselves and with others. Over the past 9 months, I've been in therapy working through what I feel, naming it, identifying where and how I've been hurt, and seeking healing, reconciliation, and restoration. In this process, I've learned that sticks and stones break bones, and words break our hearts, our emotional and spiritual center. Since we're created for relationship, people hurt us. We fall out of relationships. People come and go. Some we had high hopes for, and they left us broken and bleeding. Others we never thought they'd be what we needed, and they become the healthiest relationships we have. Sometimes our expectations go unmet. Our longings are insatiated. And we are searched for meaning and value and worth, and to know that we matter in so many things. We search for these things in alcohol, success, power, influence, sex, shopping, religion, wealth, affairs, control, masking our hurt and pain rather than naming it and seeking healing from those who can help us. In the words of the great philosopher Olaf, you feel what you feel, and your feelings are real. You are a big ball of feelings. My encouragement to you today is to feel. The hard feelings, the easy feelings, the mundane and boring feelings. Feel it all. Name it. Express it. Find someone to share your feelings with, that we will be kind to how you feel and listen to you. You have been created to feel. And by opening yourself up to feel, you invite a full, joyful, adventurous life that you were created to live. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.